Coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Here's what's happening right now. Columbia's mask ordinance goes into effect in 5 p.m. That's 60 seconds from now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Murray. Thanks for joining us. It's up to Columbia businesses to enforce the mask policy inside their stores. KOMU 8's Ian Russell spent the day talking to shop owners about the new order.
Yeah, Jim, a lot of shops that I talked to today said they didn't think this was going to be a huge issue for them, but two of them in particular that I talked to say they both support the ordinance, but for different reasons. For Jerry Rowden, music has been his business for years.
Opened this shop in 2007, so it's been about 13 years we've been here.
Making the music is important too. Rowden sells a lot to beginners.
Most of our customers are school involved in school band programs.
But above all of that is keeping his customers around. Rowden says part of making sure that happens is following that mask ordinance.
If school doesn't happen, we're in big trouble. You know, that's our business, is the schools.
And for anyone who does come in, they're greeted by a bowl and a sign.
Yeah, we're just asking that if people don't have a mask, I'll give them a mask.
He's not the only local shop owner who says they'll follow the order. Ashley Addison's family owns Your CBD store off of I-70. She says they'll follow the ordinance to keep their doors open.
We were just happy that we're able to have our doors open again, so whatever we need to do. If I have to wear a mask in order to have my customers come back into my store instead of curbside only, I'm willing to do it.
Even if that means talking people down who are upset about wearing a mask.
You know, we're just going to try the best we can, just try to talk to people and just tell them, like, you know, this is mandatory here.
We've talked about what would we do with, in that situation, and we, like I said, we're going to work with people, and so we're not, I'm not too worried about that happening.
And if it does happen, Rowden says he already has a plan.
We're not going to make any enemies. If someone really has a strong feeling about not wearing a mask, I'll be happy to go out in the parking lot with them and talk with them and find out what they want and, bring it out to them or, whatever needs to happen. But we don't want to make anybody mad.
Small steps to make sure he keeps the doors open.
The mask is maybe just one little step, but that's, one little step might be enough.
Now, both of those shops you just heard from say they're ready to work with that ordinance as long as they need to. And now remember, if you're out in Columbia without a face mask, you could get hit with a $15 fine, and businesses that don't enforce it could get hit with a $100 fine. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Ian Russell, KOMU 8 News.
As a reminder, the ordinance requires anyone 10 years old or older to wear masks at all times in public. That includes hallways, in apartment buildings, and offices where people can pass each other without being 6 feet apart. Masks do not have to be worn while exercising, eating at a restaurant, and where federal law requires. As of now, the ordinance will expire in 90 days. The city ordinance exempts MU, but the university today announced it will follow the city's guidelines on campus this fall. A university spokesperson says anyone on campus should be wearing a mask with exceptions, including private offices, dorm rooms, or outdoors. The ordinance is more strict than those originally set in June, which only required wearing a mask in a classroom. The Boone County Health Department is extending its reopening plan into August. Phase 2, Step 3, allows businesses to open with social distancing and limits on gatherings to no more than 100 people. It was originally set to expire July 20th, but has been extended until August 10th. The Health Department says the extension is necessary because Boone County is not meeting all the criteria to move to the next step of reopening. As Boone County holds off its next phase, here are the newest COVID-19 numbers in Boone County. 42 new cases were reported today, bringing the total to 629. Of those cases, 259 are still active. We also know an additional 467 patients are quarantined because they came in contact with a known case. A 3-day gymnastics camp kicked off today. We wanted to see what safety measures are in place. The pandemic has not stopped Tiger Academy of Gymnastics from making sure kids have fun this summer. There are entrance and exit only signs posted on doors to limit traffic. Campers are getting their temperature taken when they arrive. Duct tape can be found on the floor for social distancing. Amy Butler hopes to continue her passion even during challenging times.
I've been coaching ever since I was 16, and I've never left it. I just love the sport. I love working with children. I love being able to make a difference for kids, and I have found that in gymnastics.
The camp is scheduled to end Sunday at noontime.
Well, there's lots going on across the nation. We're taking a look at satellite radar here right now. You can see first thing off to the east, that's Tropical Storm Faye. It made landfall in New Jersey just a couple hours ago. But what we're looking at and what will play a big role in our weather, we're looking at an area right about here for the potential of showers and thunderstorms to develop later on this evening, early overnight, and they could shift down towards us in the form of a complex of showers and thunderstorms. Here it is on Precipcast showing that rolling in tomorrow morning, right around 6 or 7 in the morning, so right about the time that you're getting up tomorrow. And anywhere that you see inside this light green shading has a fairly small potential for 1 or 2 of those showers and storms to become strong to severe with gusty winds and small hail. Coming up, we'll talk more about that, give you a complete hour-by-hour timeline in just a few minutes.
Jacob, thank you very much. President Trump is in Florida today, one of the nation's hardest-hit hotspots, as his campaign makes adjustments for the rapidly spreading virus. NBC's Susan McGinnis reports.
President Trump today visits Florida, a critical battleground state in the fall that right now is battling one of the nation's worst surges of coronavirus. The president downplaying what's become a crisis in Miami.
Before it hit, we were doing really well, and we're still doing very well, but now we're getting back on track.
His agenda, meeting with Southern Command to talk about anti-drug operations, and later gathering with dissidents from Cuba and Venezuela. Local leaders are focusing on the hospital beds that are filling up fast.
We went from having basically no cases in the ICU to being really close to 90+% of capacity today.
As more get sick, testing lines get longer and testing supplies are running short. The governor who pushed Florida to an early reopening now calling in help.
We're going to end up having, in very short order, an additional 1,000 boots on the ground that could assist in a variety of ways. Testing, helping out different hospital systems, long-term care.
The president continuing his push for reopening.
We're setting records on jobs. We're setting records on many different things. We're going to have a great third quarter.
While the president wants to see scenes like this next month at the Republican convention in Jacksonville, the COVID crisis is forcing his party to consider moving the gathering outdoors as politics and the pandemic collide.
That was Susan McGinnis reporting. The World Health Organization now says airborne transmission of the virus is possible in certain circumstances. The WHO says it reviewed evidence of outbreaks in closed settings like nightclubs and restaurants. Researchers say aerosol transmission cannot be ruled out in these outbreaks.
And aerosol transmission is one of the modes of transmission that we have been concerned about since the beginning.
In our current situation, it is very unlikely that we can eradicate or eliminate this virus.
The WHO says it needs to do more research to figure out how significant aerosol transmission is. An advanced team from the WHO is currently on its way to China to investigate the origins of the virus. The WHO believes the virus started at a Wuhan market late last year. 2 WHO experts and animal health experts will work with Chinese scientists to determine how to investigate its origin. Back in mid-Missouri, the Callaway County Sheriff's Department identified a victim of yesterday's homicide as 31-year-old Erwin Hayes. The department says his body was found on County Road 351, not far from Millersburg. They say investigators are following about 50 leads. The sheriff says anyone with more information should call Callaway County Crime Stoppers. A man went running through the St. Louis airport after stabbing someone last night. KSDK-TV reports a man was standing in Terminal 1 when he was stabbed about 8 o'clock last night. An airport spokesperson said the suspect ran and made his escape on the Metrolink. Police have made no arrests. Officers believe it was a random incident. Coming up, employers are warning their workers about using TikTok. Plus, 2 days ago, Columbia put curbside recycling on hold, what that means at drop-off locations.
Plus, here's a look at your forecast headlines. Storms late tonight, tomorrow morning, slightly cooler this weekend, and a little bit less humid, but a heat wave is possible next week. Your full forecast is straight ahead.
And you're taking a live look over the Lake of the Ozarks on this Friday afternoon. It's 5:08. This is KOMU 8 News First at 5. Coverage you can count on. The Secretary of the U.S. Army says he will recommend a full independent review into the death of a Fort Hood soldier, Vanessa Guillen. Guillen reportedly told her family about being sexually harassed at the fort before going missing. The Army is putting together a panel to review sexual harassment, processing of procedures, and complaints at Fort Hood. President Trump is delaying a rally in New Hampshire as Tropical Storm Faye moves nearby. The White House press secretary made the announcement early today. The rally was scheduled for tomorrow outside an airport hangar in Portsmouth. The Trump campaign has not announced a new date for the rally. Amazon now says an email barring employees from using TikTok on their devices was a mistake. In that email, Amazon said it should be deleted off any mobile device that can get access to Amazon email. The email said accessing TikTok from company laptops is still okay. This comes as politicians say the app could have effects on national security given its ties to China. TikTok is owned by the world's most valuable startup, a Chinese company called ByteDance.
Well, after showers and thunderstorms move in tonight, attention turns to the potential of a heat wave this upcoming week. We'll have your full forecast coming up right after the break.
It's been 2 days since Columbia stopped curbside recycling. Now drop-off locations are piling up. Today, a collector spent extra time making sure trash was separated from recycling at the Home Depot drop-off. He told KOMU despite the challenges this change brings, it will not stop him from making sure he leaves each drop-off better than how he found it.
I just look at it like if it's my home and if you're coming to my house, I want it to be clean, and that's the way I would like this.
We spoke to other Mid-Missourians who told us they're also concerned. Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 6, you'll hear why.
5:15 is your current time. Welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Temperatures across the area right now are sitting right around the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. You can see it's 90 in Lynn, 91 degrees in Mexico, 88 degrees in Marshall and Brunswick. You guys are just a little bit cooler than the rest of us around here. But what I really would like to show you is the feels like temperatures. And right off the bat, let's just review a couple of the readings from the temperature slide. 88 in Brunswick, 88 in Marshall, that's what it feels like. So the feels like temperatures are almost exactly the same as the actual air temperatures, which means our humidity is pretty low right now, so definitely a more comfortable evening to get out and about if you have plans. Hour by hour over the next several hours, starting off right around 90 degrees at the 6 o'clock hour. We'll fall pretty quickly, though, into the low to mid 70s by about midnight. And the reason we're going to fall so quickly temperature-wise is because of the lack of humidity in that air, which means that the air won't hold on to the heat as well as it otherwise would. Here's precipcast for you. We're starting off tonight. You can see most of us clear and fairly calm for the majority of the night, but by about 4 or 5 in the morning tomorrow, trouble's brewing up in northwestern Missouri. Complex of showers and thunderstorms up there. That complex could make its way down into the KOMU 8 viewing area, including mostly areas along and west of Highway 63 by the early to mid-morning hours tomorrow. But all indications are that whatever does push its way into our area will make its way back out of the area by late morning tomorrow. So a lot of us could get some showers and thunderstorms. Again, it's not a slam dunk deal. This is just one computer model simulation of what might happen. And really, the models are all over the place right now. We don't really know much about the timing or the location, so you're going to want to stay with us throughout the evening as we get a little bit more updated of a look at that. In any regard, though, storm mode index sits at a 1. Strong winds, large hail are our main threats. They're both low, and a storm mode index of 1, it's on a 0 to 5 scale, means that there could be some issues, but we're not expecting widespread issues, so you're still going to want to pay attention to it, but I'm not expecting it to be critical or widespread by any stretch of the imagination. Just wanting to give you, though, the first alert there. After tonight's storms, attention turns to your weekend forecast. 88 degrees tomorrow with a 30% chance of morning thunderstorms. Sunday, a touch drier, a touch less humid, that is. 87 degrees for a high there. After Sunday, though, heat and humidity starts to build into the area. You can see this kind of jet of hot, humid air pouring into our area by Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon looks downright stifling. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look even warmer than Tuesday. And here's what we mean by that. This is comparing your actual air temperature with your heat index. You see on Sunday, 87 degrees. Heat index isn't much warmer than the actual air temperature. Same on Monday. Monday will have humidity values that I think will at least be tolerable or comfortable. But on Tuesday, we just hit the accelerator and the heat shoots through the roof, so to speak. 103 for our heat index Tuesday, 103 for heat index Wednesday, and 106 degrees for our expected heat index by Thursday. Sure looking like a warm one out there. Could be our first real heat wave of the season. Overnight tonight, put it in a recap. 68 degrees, storms possible. I think the heaviest will be off to the west tomorrow. 88 degrees tomorrow with morning thunderstorms drying out by the afternoon. Humidity will be a little bit worse tomorrow than it is now. Sunday, we dry out a little bit again. That's our last real break before we go into the 8-day forecast there. 95 on Wednesday, upper 90s by Friday and Saturday.
Jacob, thank you very much. Even personally, I don't like that forecast, though. I don't want to hit the accelerator. Coming up, if you have an iPhone, you can try something new, but Apple says it's not ready for use all the time.
Ahead for us tonight, our officials underplaying the indoor risk from coronavirus, why hundreds of doctors are calling for a change in guidance. Also, a violent weekend across some of America's biggest cities and what some believe is behind it when we see you tonight.
Ford said today it will continue making police vehicles. This comes as about 100 employees raise questions about the car maker distancing itself from police brutality. In a statement, Ford executives said the company has no plans to pull out of the police market. Ford produces about 2/3 of police vehicles used by U.S. law enforcement. McDonald's is unveiling a restaurant designed to create enough renewable energy to cover all of its needs. The restaurant is at Walt Disney World Resort. McDonald's says it's using the restaurant to learn how it can reduce energy and water use. The Disney location has a solar paneled roof, plant-covered walls, and even stationary bikes to allow customers to generate electricity. Because of the pandemic, the restaurant is not open for inside dining yet. iPhone users can now try out the beta version of iOS 14. However, Apple warns the beta version is not for everyday use. Apple says it could have bugs and could suddenly stop working. If you want to try the new feature on your iPhone, some include picture-in-picture video while using other apps. Apple has not said when the final version will be released, but usually it happens around September. They will eat just about anything. You won't believe where Billy and the herd are setting up shop now. Columbia's mask ordinance went into effect 25 minutes ago. KOMU8's Ian Russell is in the newsroom with how a pair of Columbia businesses are getting ready for it.
Yeah, Jim, if you're out in public in Columbia now, you have to have those masks on. Two business owners I talked to today say they're providing masks for customers who come inside, and one even offered to meet customers out in the parking lot if they refuse to wear those masks inside. Remember, if you're caught out in Columbia without a mask, you could be hit with the $15 fine, and businesses who don't enforce the mask ordinance could be hit with a $100 fine. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Ian Russell, KOMU8 News.
Coming up on KOMU8 News at 6, why it's difficult to find more helping hands on contact tracing. That's at 6.
Well, tomorrow we are looking at the potential for kind of a tale of two halves of the day. The first half of our day, we could have some showers and thunderstorms. That's not a slam dunk, not a guarantee it'll happen, but the potential is certainly there. Storm mode index is at a 1. 88 for our afternoon high tomorrow, 87 on Sunday. But as we look into the upcoming week, heat and humidity returns in force. It is certainly going to feel hot out there by about midweek.
You know, not a good time to go outside working, right? Well, but look at this. This is the Virginia governor's mansion, and those are the new employees. Yep, it's a herd of goats. Billy and his gang. The yard is too steep for mowing. I mean, you can clearly see that. The First Lady says goats are a safe and affordable way to get rid of invasive plants.
I would have never, that's so creative.
It is.
That is so creative. I mean, you're just, you know, instead of using a lawnmower, just use goats.
Absolutely. That is our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
On air, online, on Facebook and Twitter, on the News app, on the Weather app, and now on Roku. KOMU8 News. Coverage you can count on.